they're
their game
500 right
plan
now. They're gonna be under
when they go
500
against
maybe
Alabama is
tonight.
to change,
But
not
and
to do
then
what they did the
the
first
next
time around. Employ
they
that
come
three tight
next. They
end
got the
set.
Nets.
Employ
I
more.
mean, and we are back. We're gonna get back into the NBA talk and wrap that up, and then jump into the NFL playoff action, and then whatever else comes up. We got to talk about our bowling night too. So we'll do that before the end of the show. But Harish, go ahead and pick us up with the NBA stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, with the Wizards' remaining schedule, I don't know if this team's going to play any better. Like in all honesty, I think with what's going on, and they're not gonna, like, with that assistant to the assistant coach, they're not gonna go anywhere.
I would
I mean,
assume so. They got the Celtics tomorrow. I wonder if Unsel's gonna be back for that one.
I'll put it this way: if Unseld is back, that's going to be a good game to watch.
The Celtics
It,
also
it,
lost to Portland, so
yeah, and I think David is frozen again.
he'll
Poor
he'll
guy.
join us. He'll join us again.
He'll join us in momentarily.
He's up at his fancy mountain house, so the
Yeah,
connection's a little spotty out there. Um,
yeah, he's
yeah,
up in his.
we were saying you're at your fancy mountain retreat, so the connection's a little spotty up there. But
Yeah,
yeah, so y'all can bear with us on
no
that.
internet out here.
Yeah. But yeah, so I haven't heard anything on West coming back for tomorrow's game against Boston, but I'm also not too worried about them because they just lost to Portland just like we did. So that's a
Mhm.
game that could go either way. I think the Wizards can get it, as long as they can get that rotation figured out. Hopefully,
Yep.
one of the coaches is back, so the Globetrotters guy is not out there handling that stuff anymore. But then you've got the Clippers coming up Tuesday. I mean, you got to win those games.
You
Like,
have to.
the Grizzlies will be a tough test. The Bucks, of course, is tough. So you got to get these two winnable ones before you run into this. You got the Grizzlies, Bucks, Sixers, and then
Yeah, that's a
Suns.
buzzsaw right
That
there.
that's a tough stretch of games there. You
Mhm.
got to get the two you should get, and then who knows? You go 500 in the rest of them. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think we said like they'll go 50% on this swing, but but so far, I mean, they're up and down, but
yeah, you know what's going to happen. They're going to win these games against the big teams because everybody you come to play in those games, so they'll win those. Like it'll make no
Yeah.
sense.
which it's like scratches your head and you're like, well, let's see here. Like, why couldn't you play this like 3 games ago and win those 3 games? Like, if you're playing down to your competition, that means you're not elite status yet. You're just at a mediocre level. I mean, to become an elite, like if you want to become like the Golden State or the Milwaukee Bucks, or even like I even say the Nets, like you have to, if you're like winning by 10, if you're up by 10, you got to win by 15. I'm sorry, you just got to. If you have the team on the ropes, you got to finish off the games. You can't let them come back in. And that's what, in my opinion, elite status teams do, is when they put you away early, they put you away. They don't make you come back. So that's my 2 cents.
Yep, agreed. And that's a good place to leave it with the Wizards. We're giving them a lot of time, and they're not giving us anything in return.
Yes.
As far as play on the court. So yeah. I'm gonna touch on the Nuggets real quick. It's freaking Jokic. He is playing at above elite status right now. I had a bet on him the other night for I think it was to get a triple double.
Oh,
And yeah, that game we were watching where so it came down to the very last play. He had 9 assists and he threw a laser. Like that pass, that was an amazing pass. Double team, he couldn't see it. He hits Aaron Gordon in the pocket in the corner for the game winning three.
He should got 2 assists for that pass.
Right. Great pass. He's such a great player.
He's a great player, yes.
And somebody tweeted a video last night of how he gets beat up and the refs don't give him calls. I think the refs don't give him calls because he whines a lot and they don't like being showed up. So they've kind of got it out for him. But he gets banged up like Shaq used to and doesn't get any calls. So
Shaq didn't get calls either. When you're bigger than the opponent, they're more lenient.
Yeah. Which is garbage. I mean, a foul should be a foul, but it's the NBA, so whatever.
just like the NFL.
Yeah. Embiid is also balling, but they lost last night to the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were up 25 and ended up, or 24, and ended up losing the game. So when stuff like that happens, like you're supposed to be the MVP, I gotta take some points off when stuff like that happens. But you got him, Jokic and Steph battling for the MVP. Who do y'all think is the MVP if the season ended today?
Today, I would have to give.
It doesn't have to be those guys, but
Well, I mean, Curry's playing at an elite level, though.
The past
mean,
month or so, he's been kind of down. I think he had 39 or so last night, but he's been
He got the game winner last
spotty.
night.
Yeah, he's been kind of spotty without Draymond. And
Yeah.
guys are kind of knocking him for that, but
But I mean, you're gonna have off nights. I mean, he still scores at an elite level. I have to retract my statement about his ball handling because I actually looked at it, and he's actually a really good point guard. He's actually, I think he's underrated in that opinion. Like, I don't think people give him the credit he deserves. But and I was one of them, so I had to eat crow, and I actually saw him actually play. So I'm just thinking, like, if it's going to come, he's going to win by marginal because Jokic is having a heck of a year. I mean, he's without certain players on that team being injured, he's carrying that team. But I will say this: an MVP is a person who can lead that team when others are not around him. So I might have to lean to Jokic to get the MVP, even though I said Steph Curry's going to win it, but Jokic can win it flat out too.
I would say I'll give it to Jokic just because if you take him off that team, they're probably one of the worst teams in the league.
yeah,
I think like, you could probably say the same for Golden State, but I think I don't know. I feel like Jokic does more for that team. Like you saw during that Clippers game, right? They were going on that huge run, and then Denver took the lead, and then they took him out for his rest, and Clippers just took the lead right back. So, and then they had to bring him back on in the fourth, like early on in the fourth. So, yeah, I mean, it's harder to scheme, I would say, against Jokic, but
yeah, he just
yeah,
does
I'll
so
give
much being the primary ball handler and like getting all the boards and scoring. Like he does everything for that team.
yeah, and a big man that could pass too. So
Yeah. The only knock against him getting the MVP this season is the fact that he won it last year, and they apparently hate giving guys the MVP 2 years in a row. But if taking that completely out of play, like only looking at this season, there's no question he's the MVP. No
Yeah.
question.
I agree.
Yeah. Freaking the Sixers, if you take Embiid off that team, that's a pretty trash roster as constituted right now too. But like I said, with them their loss last night, you saw they were up like 24 and they lost to the Clippers, and Doc Rivers was getting beaten up in the press conference after the game. A guy said, how much of this do you attribute to coaching?
Oh,
He did not like that.
dang.
He kind of went off. You don't really see Doc go off too much, but he didn't like that. He didn't care for that question. I think he said something like, "Would you ask Pop that question?" Popovich. But yeah.
Why
So,
not? Heck, if you're up by 24 and you lose, I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's a fair question.
Yeah, it is. But I think David's frozen again. But we can go ahead and we can shift gears on into the NFL playoff action coming up. We've devoted a lot of the show to the NBA, so we can go ahead and get that going here. With the first matchup being Cincinnati going to Tennessee. Derrick Henry's coming back. David, you with us?
Thumbs up. Can you hear us?
David.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I took in and out.
Yeah.
Those mountain services are.
We don't even have internet here. I can't even go on Wi-Fi. I'm on the cellular data.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, you have unlimited data.
Yeah,
I do.
Okay,
good.
We've shifted gears and we're going to pick up with the NFL stuff. Starting off with Cincinnati at Tennessee and make some picks here. The line is Tennessee 3.5. Again, Derrick Henry's coming back. David, start us off there. Who's your pick?
I'm gonna go with Tennessee, even though I like Joe Burrow. I love what he did this year, and he's a fighter. He looks like he's in every game, but I think it's too much for Cincinnati to handle. I think I'm not quite sure.
So David's dropping out again. I'll give my 2 cents on this one too, and then Harish, you can pick it up. I think I agree. I think Tennessee is going to get it. I think this Cincinnati team as constituted has probably hit their ceiling. They're pretty much for me on offense a one-trick pony with the because Mixon He's solid, but he hasn't had a big game this season, and he definitely won't in this spot either. That Burrow to Chase combo, when you know that's coming with a coach like Vrabel, he can get something going to stop that. And with Henry coming back too, that's got to be too much for them. I'm taking Tennessee -3.5 there. I like that.
I think the inexperience will catch up to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
this year.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that, like, when they played against the Raiders were 1-6 in the red zone.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, that game was a lot closer than it looked. It wasn't
Blown call
Cincinnati-
away.
yeah. I mean, Joe Burden, I mean, yeah, they had their moments. I mean, if it was me, I'll just pass to Jamar Chase all day and let the defense stop you. But against Tennessee, the only thing I'm really worried about is Derrick Henry, because he's coming off that foot injury, and we don't know, even though he's healthy. I mean, he's an amazing recoverer. Like, when he was injured, I think it was like last year, the year before, I don't know if it was his knee or his foot, but he came back and he had a monster game, like, I mean, so he's just, his body is just built differently. But that's what I'm watching out for. And also Tannehill, if Cincinnati forces him to throw, that's where the troubles are going to arise. Because with a receiver like AJ Brown, they should be like Burrow and Chase, in my opinion, but they're not. So that's where I'm kind of worried. If they can run the ball, which I have nothing to kind of against it, but at the end of the day, I'm going to pick Tennessee because A, they're home, and B, Mike Vrabel has improved his record every year as a coach, and I mean, you have to call him a defensive-minded like genius, because he can control anything he wants. He was a good defensive player, and he knows how to stop that team too. So I believe Joe Burrow, even though he's going to see some things that he probably hasn't seen in a while, I think Mike Vrabel is going to make him throw maybe 2 to 3 picks. And as David said, this is going to be it's going to be too much for them to overcome. So I'm taking Tennessee by 3.
So that means you pick the Bengals to cover then.
Yeah, the Bengals will cover. I mean, it's going to be a close game because
That's not a bad pick.
Yeah, because
It
at the end
should
of the
be
day,
a close
like,
game.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't
if
think it's
it
going
will.
to be a
But-
close game, or
And here's why I think it could get out of hand, because this is like one of the few times this season where Tennessee's offense is completely healthy. Like, you got Julio
Oh.
Jones out there healthy. You got
And
AJ
AJ
Brown out
Brown.
there healthy. You got Derrick Henry, and he wouldn't be on the field if he couldn't give it 100% go.
True.
I think they'll be hitting on all cylinders. Tennessee's front seven on defense is the most underrated in the league. They're silent killers. Their defense is very good, and I think they could jump on the Bengals and put this game away early.
Yeah, and then just lean on Henry to close
Yeah.
out
you
the
know,
game.
Henry throughout the rest.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I can see it going both ways, but I also feel that like with that, it's all that X factor, because Jamar Chase is that X factor, and that's what they used against the Raiders, because the Raiders had no answer for him. So, I mean, that's how I say he's going to keep it close, but I can see this game getting blown wide open too. That's my biggest fear, is that like the game might be over in the first half.
Yeah.
Like,
Hopefully they're all good games this weekend. Switching over to the one I'm looking forward to the most. This is a legacy-defining game for a couple of players here. You got San Fran going into Green Bay. The line on this one is Green Bay -5.5. David, start us off.
I am taking Green Bay to cover. I just think they have too many weapons with Rodgers and Adams, and then Jones, and who's the other rookie running back that they drafted this year? He's really good.
Oh, gosh.
Is it
I can't remember his name, but I can see him.
Dylan? Was it Dylan?
Dylan?
No.
I
Yes,
think it's
yes,
A.J. Dillon.
yes,
Dylan.
yes.
So yeah,
Dylan.
I think I think there'll be too much for San Francisco to overcome. So I'm gonna take Green Bay. And then Rodgers is on a mission this year, so he's trying to leave Green Bay, and then he's probably gonna try to win the ship and then leave.
And make the fans hate them for letting them go even more. Harish, what you got?
So I had to eat a bunch of crow last week because of the 49ers and the Deebo Samuel effect. So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to pick the 49ers because of the X factor, Deebo Samuels. And I believe, David, unfortunately, he had to drop. So
He'll be back.
He'll be back. But I don't know, man. Like when I saw that game against the Dallas Cowboys and I saw how the 49ers played on defense, I mean, the Green Bay Packers defense ain't that good. I mean, they're good. I mean, they're okay, but they're not world beaters. I mean, they're not like you can break that defense. It's just Aaron Rodgers and that offense is so potent. So you have to stop Aaron Rodgers. If you stop Aaron Rodgers, you stop Green Bay. That's plain and simple. I don't think Green Bay has an answer for Deebo Samuels. I don't think they have an answer for him. And I don't think that defense can uphold Deebo Samuels because it clearly showed against the Dallas Cowboys defense, which was supposed to be world beaters. And I had to eat a bunch of crow, and I'm not afraid to say that I was wrong. And I should have picked, I should have gone with my gut instead of my freaking head, which I was like, well, statistically, this works out in their favor.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you on that. I'm also like, I get all the Aaron Rodgers stuff. This being his final go in Green Bay. They do have a strong running game, but they don't lean on it the way they should.
Mhm.
I mean, Green Bay at home, tough to beat, but San Fran, I think they just have all the tools for this to be a Super Bowl team. Um,
Yes.
Top to bottom, from the coach on down, they have everything in place for this team to win it all. With a running game like that and a defense like they have, receivers like Samuel, Ayuk, they
Oh,
just have all the pieces.
and the
And I
tight
think
end too. Don't forget Kittle.
and Kim, he's a freaking Pro Bowl tight end, and we didn't even say his name. So thanks for
No.
bringing him up. Thanks for bringing him up. They have everything. Offensive line, defensive line. I think they'll and then getting 5.5 here. Like I'm taking that all day.
Mhm.
I would have picked them money line, but I'll definitely take them with the points. And so David's got Green Bay. We're both on San Fran. I hope it'll be a good game.
Yeah. The only caveat I would say is the only way the 49ers lose is Jimmy Garoppolo. If he doesn't make a stupid pass. And that's my biggest fear is if he makes like how they did against Dallas, if he does that kind of passing, they're done. But
Yeah, and
that's
I
not
don't. I would think the game plan would be that they don't put him in that position this time. Um, so I expect them to lean heavily on the run.
yes.
Not sure what the weather is looking like there tomorrow. That's going to play a factor. Let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah. I think. I mean, knowing Green Bay's probably going to be cold
Or I
and
said tomorrow. It's today. Um, so it's 22 degrees, but no precipitation.
that's
Um,
good.
but with it being that cold, I expect them to especially lean on the run.
Yeah.
Green Bay is not going to change anything from how they do it because Aaron Rodgers is used to that. But that should still have an effect on both teams on both sides.
Yes.
So I got San Fran. That's we're both on that. Those are our picks.
Yeah.
Next game on the slate for Sunday, um, Rams going down to Tampa.
Ooh.
Another legacy defining game, at least
It is.
for the Rams.
Hmm.
Tampa and Brady, his legacy is cemented no matter the outcome here. But
Hmm.
this is a big one for the Rams, for McVay, for Stafford, even Odell Beckham. I mean, this changes the narrative for both of them, for all of them, depending on the outcome of this one. What do you have here? We've got Tampa favored by 2.5.
I'm going to take the St. Louis Rams because
The LA
I
Rams.
the LA sorry the LA Rams sorry it's they're changing too much, they're moving too much, just stay in one place for God's sake. No, I'll take the LA Rams because I feel that this is going to be the coming out party for Matthew Stafford, and OBJ has something to prove too because that was his first playoff game win. This is his first playoff game win. And then I just feel that like Brady, he doesn't have the same talent that he used to have because everybody's gone from the receiver standpoint. I mean, I guess Philly, they just blew the doors off because I don't think Philly was prepared for that kind of monster. I mean, I think they just ran into a buzzsaw. But the Rams are equally capable on defense. They have the studs. And then it's just Matthew Stafford, as you say. If Matthew Stafford can go into Tampa and beat Tom Brady, that's the monkey off his back. Because after that, that's the NFC Championship game, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. To fill y'all in, David's connection is gone here, so he'll join it back up with us on a later show. But I want to thank him definitely for his input here. It was good, a good show up to this point, and yeah, we can keep it going here with our picks and I'm sure he would have been in line with some of these anyway, especially this one here. I think he definitely would have agreed with both of us on this because I'm agreeing with you that I think the
Mm,
Rams are going to go in there and win it.
mhm,
I think the Rams are this year's version of what Tampa was last year.
mm.
I think not only are they going to win this, but and you picked this before anybody, before either one of us did. And I haven't heard anybody else really be on the Rams bandwagon either. But you said they were going to go ahead and make a Super Bowl run here, and I haven't been on that until I didn't mentally go down that road until last night. I heard Von Miller talking about it in an interview, and I just hearing like a renewed enthusiasm in his voice, knowing that he's feeling that way, I feel like that must be going through the entire team. I think this is like I said, this is going to be a legacy defining moment for Stafford. I don't think he'll be the reason they win the game, but I don't think he's going to do anything for them to lose it.
Mm.
I think the reason they win this game is because how do you ever beat Tom Brady? You pressure the heck out of him. Von Miller did that when the Broncos won the Super Bowl. When the Patriots came into Denver, Von Miller ate Tom Brady alive. He's going to be the same guy to do that here. Aaron Donald is going to be bringing the heat.
Mhm.
And then a reason I'm rooting for the Rams here is, a personal reason, of course, for Eric Weddle. He had a long career, didn't get a ring. I love to see them, come out of retirement and get a ring. Like that's a
Yeah.
great story for
Yeah.
him, for the league. Get an old guy to go out with a ring like that. He deserves it.
Mhm.
A ring, I think, gets him into Hall of Fame consideration because he was a top level safety throughout his entire career. So I love to
Yeah.
see that for him. I think the Rams just offensively, Stafford, they have the pieces there to get it done. You got Cup, you got Odell Beckham, you got Akers back. Um, they should win this game.
Yeah. Hands
Like you
down.
said, the cupboard is bare with Tampa on with the receivers. They got Evans and they have Grunk and OJ Howard. But I
That's
mean,
but I mean, because I just feel that the Rams defense is going to key in on Brady more than anything because Brady's not a he's not a mobile quarterback now. He's
no,
40 years old. And with this, it's just sheer speed. Like with Aaron Donald and Von Miller, it's just sheer speed. And they can't stop that. I don't think their offensive line is, I don't think they're ready for that. I really don't think they're ready for that kind of pressure. And that's just one on one. I'm not talking about blitz schemes. I'm not even talking about disguising. They're going to play a 4-man front and they're going to go mano y mano and see who can win in the trenches. And I think it leans to the Rams. I
yeah,
just
and what
think it leans to the side.
yeah, and with the Bucks receiving core being what it is, it's not like you have guys to worry about outside of Mike Evans. So you
Right.
double there because you've got to. But then like you can bring like I hope the defensive coordinator he has a plan to. I mean, sure, straight up they can bring heat with the guys they have, but then I bring extra heat with some blitz packages because you don't have
Mhm.
to worry about doubling so much outside of Mike Evans. So
Yeah.
bring it. Put this game
Yeah.
away on the
Yeah.
defensive end.
And in all honesty, I'll just double Gronk all day and make Mike Evans beat you. Because at the end of the day, Gronk is that sneaky guy. Because that's what happened against Philly. Gronk just got wide open every time. So why wouldn't you feed him?
See, I don't know that I'd leave it to Mike Evans to beat you because he can. Um,
Uh,
you
but
could
if you put
probably
that pressure on, right?
okay. Then again, you don't have to double him because you're paying a corner and Jalen Ramsey to be able to guard guys like him.
You're
Him being
right.
a big corner, this is his kind of matchup. So you go
Mhm.
one on one there, and then you
Yeah.
can double Gronk, and then leave
Yeah.
everything else in single
Mhm.
coverage. So yeah,
Why don't
they
they
have what it
put
takes. They should win this game.
does the league? I mean, I don't want to get off topic, but I don't see a lot of bump and run anymore. I don't see a lot of people bumping the receiver off their line a little bit nowadays. Is that something different now because of how the penalties are swinging over more towards the defensive side of the ball and giving the offensive player more leanway?
Hard to say, but probably. And offensive schemes have kind of adjusted to that, running a lot more rubs off of other receivers to throw coverages like that off, and that's why teams play more zones.
Mhm.
Um, but
I
the
mean,
rules might play a part in that too.
yeah. 'Cause the reason why I say that is because Jalen Ramsey is a physical corner, right? So I was thinking like if he's going to go one-on-one with Mike Evans, that will probably be his best just to, just bump him off a little bit of the line, shade him towards the sideline and then trying to backpedal and read Brady's eyes and try to just go after the ball. Because if you take him off the line, you have to go to a secondary or third receiver. at that point. But I was just wondering because I don't see that enough in the league nowadays, and I was just wondering like, can that be just play a role into certain things? But not here nor there. Sorry, just
Yeah, so we both got the Rams, and the Rams are getting
Yep.
2.5 points too. So I like our pick there. I
Mhm.
feel like David would have been with us on that.
Yeah.
To wrap up the weekend, we've got Buffalo going into KC.
Oof.
Um, I'll start us off here. I I like Buffalo to win, and I'm rooting for them for the city. They've been through a lot with the 4 Super Bowl losses in a row. It'd be nice. Kansas City's got a ring recently here. It'd be nice to see them go out there and get it. Another legacy-defining game again for Josh Allen to get over this hump here and catapult himself into elite status. They beat KC earlier this season. I don't even feel like the game wasn't even that close. I think they can go in here and get this one, despite the fact that KC is definitely from the point where they lost that game to now.
Mhm.
They've kind of done a night and day turn here. They're kind of firing on all cylinders on both sides of the ball.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the way Buffalo looked last week, they're coming in to KC like riding a high here. And I think they've got it's 1.5 KC's
Mhm.
favorite. So that means Vegas feels like this is a game that could go either way. And if you really look at it with home teams in the playoffs getting a 3 point cushion
Advantage.
there,
Yeah.
they really feel like Buffalo is kind of favored a little bit to win this game.
Mm.
And I agree with that. That's my pick. I think Buffalo can pull this out here.
Yep.
Close game, but I think they'll get it.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I think uh, I may think that Buffalo may win by 10 because that I mean that New England game was a statement game, man. I mean, even though New England wasn't the same New England, you had to put away a team like that to show that, like, hey, you better watch out. You better not take us lightly. And
Yeah.
and I think Stephon Diggs is going to have a game against the Kansas City defense. He's gonna they're gonna like he's been quiet. I mean, he has his catches, but against Kansas City, I think they're gonna show why that he came to Buffalo again. He's gonna rejuvenate his stats against the KC defense because I think the KC defense is a farce. I don't think they're as good as they're meant to be. I mean, they had their shine here and there, but against that offense, oh boy, they can run the ball, they can pass, and Josh Allen can beat you with your leg, just like Patrick Mahomes. So at the end of the day, you got to stop them, not the other way around. Like you got to stop the Buffalo offense because I know that I think the Buffalo defense is going to step up to the plate and knock Patrick Mahomes around a little bit and tell him that hey, you're in a game, you're in a game, you're not going to push us around like before. So
Yeah, so either way, it should be a good one. Do we agree on every game here? Let's see.
I think
No,
so. I
you
think
you you went the other way with the Bengals
y-
and the points there.
no,
But everything else,
no, I picked Tennessee to win, but I
money
was
line,
saying
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but the money line was I was different when it came to the thing because I think it's going to be
Could-
closer to that.
Yeah, that should be a close. Again, I'm just hoping for good games across the board.
Yeah,
But either whether they're there or not, it's football. It's something to watch. So
I
we'll
mean
be
the thing is when it's a blowout, you kind of feel like I wasted my time because you're
yeah.
just like whatever because it's not your team playing. If your team blew out the other team, oh that's all great. But like if you're just a fan rooting, you want to see a good competitive game and for like sports heads like us and for our fans like we just want to see a good game. That's all. We just wanted to
Yeah.
see a good game, no blowouts. And we're kind of selfish too because we kind of bet money too on the side, so we have a little bit more interest in it.
And I just got the 10-minute warning here for this one. So we can. I mean, that's it with the playoff talk. We can touch on some other stuff. Well, we can get into bowling night a little bit too. But
Yeah.
quickly before we do that, a rumor I'd heard throw it out there this week was that with the Bears getting the new coaching staff and new front office and all of that, that a new coach would want to come in and get his own QB situation going, and that they might be looking to trade Justin Fields. And I heard that for a WFT to be a landing spot for him, and that's not something I'd be interested in. Nothing against Fields. Oh, well, I guess it is against him. But I don't like any Ohio State quarterbacks. I wouldn't be interested if it was him or any other. Like, I don't care who you throw out there from Ohio State. I don't want him. That's a hard pass. What would you think about that?
Okay. First of all, you need a person that can win now. You don't need a person that can win 4 years from today, 3 years. That's why they're throwing out, the quarterback from Liberty, get him. I'm like, and do what? What are you going to do? He's a working project. We don't need a working project. We need somebody to go in there and solidify the quarterback position and take us to the next thing, playoffs or even Super Bowl. One of those two. If you can't do that, there ain't no point looking at you. Justin Fields, he had a really bad system to work in Chicago. You think he's going to come in here in Washington and miraculously pick this team up? No, he has so many deficiencies as a quarterback. I mean, he has to work on his craft. You have to get a veteran starter. You're not going to get Aaron Rodgers. There's no way you're going to get Aaron Rodgers because he's going to go to Denver. Like, it's been written. Okay, let's be real here. Russell Wilson is the only other quarterback that if he's interested, you have to give up something to get it. We have it because even though we're not a big market like New York, but I think he can succeed better here than New York because they fired their coach, right? I think the Giants fired their coach and GM, so he's starting afresh over there. You have no idea what they're going to do over there. At least over here.
As far as New York is concerned, they've just hired a new GM. I think their move is going to be hiring Flores, and I think their next move is going to be getting Deshaun Watson. So that's going to also put Daniel Jones on the market, and I think some idiots will probably bring him up in the QB discussion for WFT too, or the future Washington Hogs. Now, again, not interested.
No.
Justin Fields, you were being kind by calling him a work in progress. I don't think that he'll make any progress towards being a legit NFL quarterback again, because Ohio State quarterbacks, that's such a system and a system-oriented scheme for quarterbacks that it's hard to make the transition from that into a pro scheme. I don't know that I've seen anybody do it.
No.
With any, like, you had like guys like Cardell Jones who had success there, got into the league and didn't know what to do. Haskins, of course. I mean, another example. And news is coming out within the past week that it's going to be a battle between him and Rudolph for the Steelers starting job. And I think Tomlin actually kind of likes Haskins. That'll be shocking if he can win that job. He has a talent as far as like arm and everything, but that's all. I can't see that. But for as far as what move Washington should make towards a quarterback, again, I'm on the Jimmy G train. He's gonna be on the open market. That's the guy I would be all over.
If Jimmy G is on the market, because the thing is, if he goes to the Super Bowl, the 49ers are going to try to sign him for long term.
No, he's out no matter what.
He's out no matter what?
Yeah.
Guaranteed?
Just like Aaron Rodgers. People keep thinking if they win it, he'll stay. These guys are out no matter what.
Oh, okay. Then
they gave up too much to get Trey Lance to consider keeping Jimmy G. They gave up a bunch of picks to get him.
You know what? If that's the case, then I'll go after Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Like you just got to. And then people are thinking, oh, you take a quarterback in the first round. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, you go offense or defense, whoever the best player is on the line, or a receiver or defensive line, linebacker, safety, corner, you take that position. Because if you're going to get a veteran QB that can come in and get it done, you just go do that. And then he can be the transition to the new guy who you pick like second, third, or fourth round. And Jimmy G will be great because people, if they don't know, when he got traded to San Francisco from the 49ers, Bill Belichick was pretty butthurt. He was really upset about that. So that kind of shows the kind of respect that Jimmy G brings. I mean, if you can get the respect of Bill Belichick and other people around you, you're good to go.
So with you saying, like, if they got Jimmy G, I definitely agree with drafting a quarterback in the later rounds just as a project. I mean, you just throw in a flyer, give Jimmy G a 3 or 4 year deal, bring in your flyer quarterback and have him sit and learn whatever scheme you want to run. But definitely target receiver with the first pick because you got to get somebody somebody to take pressure off him.
Yeah.
And another weapon for Jimmy G. And then the next pick, offense too, for me. I think the defense is fine. When you're getting the guys back healthy, I think they'll be fine. You can get some depth in the third round there for the defense. But QB, I'm all over Jimmy G. I don't expect Derek Carr to be on the market. Otherwise, that'd be my first choice.
Yeah.
But I don't expect the Raiders to move on from him because what are you going to do then? like that. It's too hard to fill that role. Like you can take a flyer on the guy in the draft, but anybody in this year's draft, especially, is you're taking a guess that this guy might
Yeah.
develop. And with they're in a better position than WFT will be as far as that. Like that Ron has to win next season. He can't
Mhm.
take a flyer on a rookie. He has no room to struggle again.
Mm-mm.
If they struggle, he's out.
Yeah.
So
I mean, in all honesty, he was like, "Oh, this is not a rebuilding. We have all the pieces." It didn't show that they had all the pieces. I mean, at the end of the day,
no.
like, yeah, injuries happen, and it was hard to kind of facilitate things. But every other team had injuries, so at the end of the day, when does the talking come up to the action? And as Dale stated, if he doesn't win in this is like what, year 3 now?
This it will be. Yeah, coming
He'll
up.
be going to year 3. So you can give him a little bit of a longer leash because of COVID situations and everything, but after that, you may have to start looking elsewhere. And there was something that had like all the old school Washington staff. Like you had McFleur, you had Sean McVay, you had someone else. I forgot.
Shanahan.
Not Shanahan, and Shanahan. Can you imagine if those three became like the respective, like Shanahan became the head coach, McFlay became like, the quarterbacks or offensive like thing, and Sean McVay became the offensive coordinator. Like this.
Well, here's the thing. So at the time when McVay was going out into the on the coaching search, and they were letting him go, I said at the time that he was a guy that I would have promoted instead of getting Jay Gruden. And there's precedence for a team firing their head coach and promoting an assistant from within to be the head coach. It happened once before.
Mhm.
It's right on the tip of my tongue. It'll probably come up here as we're talking. But he was such a bright young mind from the Shanahan tree. I wouldn't have let that guy go because I love Shanahan's offense so much. For me, my first choice there would have been promoting Kyle, but Kyle had already, I think, decided to move on to San Fran at
Yeah,
that point. Or no, he went to Atlanta
he went to Atlanta.
um,
Yeah, yeah,
right after that. So I would have given McVay the job at the time.
yep.
Uh, I saw what he was and I saw what he could be. And again, keeping that same scheme in place with the run heavy and all that, I would have done that. I never liked Jay Gruden. Didn't like his scheme. Didn't like it in Cincinnati. And that I think, he had some success. I was gonna say that proved true, but he did have some success here. So I guess I
I
can't knock it
mean,
too hard. But again, in the end, it was a crash and burn. So
yeah. There's a lot of things. I mean, that's why people say hindsight's 2020. You had all the gems, but you don't see what you have until you let them go. They're all diamonds in the rough. All of them were diamonds in the rough.